There you go.
Recording in progress.
All right. Well, I want to respect everybody's time. So thank you everyone for joining. This is our second session for training for NAD PBE. We had one last Sunday, and this is going to be the last one. So thank you for joining. I'm going to go over several things here. We have several people from the team, Marilyn Boismere, Oscar Pastos, Jolene, and I see Miguel here as well. And there may be others as well from the NAD PPE team. Thank you all for joining. Today, let's see, I guess before we start, can we have a short prayer and then we'll begin? I'll pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing all of us here from all over the world. I ask that as we prepare for the NAD PBE event that's coming up this weekend, help us to help the Pathfinders remember what they've memorized up to this point. Help all the parents and directors and staff and all the volunteers that are going to be joining us in Greeley, Colorado, for this event. Help us to have clear minds, calm our hearts as we go through this finale of the PBE season. Help us to also glorify you in all that we do, whether it's leading the program, bringing the kids to the event, or for the Pathfinders that are taking the test. Help us to glorify you in all that we do. Pray these things in your name. Amen. All right. So I'm going to go through this event as quickly and as completely as possible. But today I'm going to focus on going through this event from the perspective of the Pathfinders. I think that's the most helpful, at least from what I've experienced. So for those that don't know, you should know, but if you don't, we have an official website, nadpbe.org. If you go there now, it has, among other things, the date and location. And this is an important page here. If you go to PBE resources, you can get to it multiple ways, but this is one of the ways that you can get to it. And it has the date and location, the address of the venue that we're going to have the event at. Also, maybe about quarter of the page down, it has a schedule. It says tentative. I think it's pretty much set. There may be little things that change here and there. But basically on Friday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time, there will be Vespers at the location at the it's going to be the building next to it, and I'll kind of go over that building. But it's going to be at the venue, the secondary building, 7:30 p.m. Let me go over that real quick. So if you go to the center, there's going to be two main buildings right next to each other. The one on the left, they call it the event center. This is the main building where the testing will happen and where the worship service and then the awards will be given. That's the main building here on the left side. And then on the right side, they call it the Weld County Exhibition Building. This is where the Friday night Vespers will be held. And then most of the spectators will be directed to go to this building and view the testing from this location. There will be a live stream there. And then not sure exactly what else can be held there, but that's the secondary building. It's within walking distance, a few 100 feet at most of each other. Okay, so that's Friday night. For those that need it, it's not on here yet, but there may also be some technical people available to you on that evening to just make sure that your computers are set up properly and ready to take the test. Okay. We'll announce that during Friday night vespers. All right. So Sabbath morning, if you're coming in from wherever you're staying, the registration begins at 8 a.m. local time. It's mountain time there. So 8 a.m., the doors will open up and everyone will head into registration. I believe it's through these two doors. Um, so you go to your registration starting at 8 a.m. And once you come in, you'll be given a manila envelope. In that envelope, on the front of it, on the outside of it, it will have your team name and your team number that you've been assigned, and your club name and church name and all that. Make sure that the paper on the outside is your team name, the correct name. And then on the outside will be your team number. That's the first thing. So if you go and look at that number, so this is kind of a view of the inside of the event center. And we've already laid it out here. It's kind of hard to see, but the way that the numbers are given is and laid out is basically the first two, there's two letters and then three numbers. The first two letters are composed of the union and maybe conference that you belong to. And then the numbers are in a way where basically all the 100s are in the first row closest to the front of the venue. And then 200s is the second row, 300s is the third row, and so on, all the way up to the 800s. And then kind of from the right to the left, you'll see that it's 01, 02, 03, all the way to 18. So you can be up to like 118 and 718 or 818 here. Okay. So the number that you're given, try to find your location. Every team will be allocated a space. In that space will be a table. And at that table, there will be at least 6 chairs for your team members. And then there may be a 7th chair for the monitor if your team, when you guys registered, decided to have a monitor with you. All right. So if you have a monitor, you'll have 7 chairs. If you decided to just write your answers on paper, then it'll just be the 6 chairs for you. Okay. In addition to those, the chair and the tables, we will have a couple other things for you at your station. We'll have a power strip, so you can plug in your laptop to the power, and then we'll also provide you with an Ethernet cable. This year, as opposed to last year or previous years, we're not going to use Wi-Fi. We're going to use hardwired internet, but we will provide you with the internet cable. But I'll go over it a little bit later. You're going to have something to plug that cable into on your computer. Okay. So if you have, so kind of going back to the team numbers, if you have a hard time finding your table, then all these little blue or green circles, they're stations where we have floor staff. We call them either floor staff or IT staff. They'll be able to help direct you to your right location. And also, if you have any troubles with technical issues, then they'll be trained to help you with technical issues as well. All right, so don't be afraid to ask them for help if you have trouble either finding your table or getting your computer set up. All right, so during registration, a couple of things have happened. Once you get to your station, if you open up your manila envelope, in it will be a paper similar to this. It'll be a physical piece of paper. And on there, again, it'll have your team number, your church name, club name, and then if you have multiple teams per club, then it may have your team name or team designation on there as well. Okay. So the first thing you do is when you go to your team goes to your station, plug in your laptop. So remember, you have to bring a laptop, and plug in your laptop to power. Again, we'll provide the power strip where you can plug it into, but you have to make sure to bring your power adapter so that your computer laptop has power. The tests will take anywhere from 4 hours to maybe 5 hours or so. So most laptops won't be able to sustain a charge for the entire period. So you must bring a power adapter, your power adapter. Okay. The other thing, like I said, this year we're not going to use Wi-Fi internet. So we're going to have a cable there for you. But what do you plug this into? What you'll have to do is plug it into an Ethernet adapter. And let me kind of go over that with you here. All right. So you bring your laptop, your power adapter, and an Ethernet adapter. If you guys want to either take a note of this, if you don't have one of these already, these are USB to Ethernet adapters, okay? So some computers have this type of a USB connection, some have a USB-C connection. Whatever your laptop has, make sure
We can't see.
Oh, you can't see this?
No.
Let's see. Let's see.
That's great.
Okay, hold on. Are you able to see this better?
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay. All right. So depending on the type of laptop you have, I think most Macintoshes have a USB-C connection. Some other computers have a USB-A connection. Either way, on one side of the adapter is a USB-A or USB-C connection, and the other side you have the Ethernet port. And that's what you'll plug in your computer to. So kind of like this. So you'll plug this end to your laptop, and then the other end to the cable, your Ethernet cable that we're going to supply for you. All right. So once you plug in your computer to the power, plug in your computer to the internet, and then if you power up your computer, you should be able to go to nearpod.com. So all teams will be taking the test using Nearpod as the main source of how you submit answers. Yes. Okay. All right. Let me kind of go over this first. So every team, as you guys already know, you'll have up to 6 team members and 1 alternate. You should designate one person as your team captain. Hold on. And that team captain is a person that is the main person that either communicates with the floor staff, or if you have any questions about how the questions are written, you'll have any challenges, that person is the designated captain. You'll also have somebody designated as a Nearpod scribe, and that person is the one that's writing your answers into the Nearpod website. And I'll go over that part a little bit later. This year, we provided 2 options during registration for backup answers. So for any reason, if your Nearpod session goes down for any reason, you will have a way to submit your answers in a backup way. We have 2 options. We gave you guys 2 options. The first one is on paper. So if your team chose to submit backup answers on paper, in that manila envelope, we'll give you 90 sheets of paper. And for every single question, you'll submit your answers in Nearpod and also on paper. Okay. So then if your team has decided to submit backup answers by paper, you have to designate one person as your paper scribe and write every single answer on paper and submit that paper backup answer to us at the end of every question, in addition to Nearpod. Okay. Nearpod is the main source of truth in terms of your answer. So ideally, both the Nearpod and paper answers are exactly the same. Then we'll take the Nearpod answer. If you have Nearpod and paper and they're different answers, we will take the Nearpod answer. The only time that a paper answer, the backup answer will be considered by the judges is if the captain communicates to the staff and says, "Hey, sorry, we're having problems with Nearpod. I can't answer it. I can't submit my answer to Nearpod. My internet connection is down." Whatever the reason, if you cannot submit your answer to Nearpod, then the paper answer will be considered as your final answer for that question. Okay. All right. The alternate is instead of a paper scribe, some teams have chosen to have a monitor with them, an adult monitor. So that in that scenario, we'll have a monitor, an adult monitor sitting with you at your table, and they will have their own computer that they bring. And what they will have is a Google Sheet open. And in that Google Sheet, what they will do is for every answer that you enter into Nearpod, they will submit the exact same answer into a Google Sheet. So that again, if for any reason your Nearpod session goes down and you cannot submit your answers through Nearpod, then your monitor will have your back and they will write your answer into Google Sheet. And then that Google Sheet answer is the answer that the judges will consider as your final answer. But again, that's a backup only. Okay. Any questions so far? I see there's a whole bunch of questions in the chat. Let me kind of take this moment to see if there's any questions that need to be answered. Okay, it looks like Oscar has.
I think one of the main questions that we haven't answered yet is, can monitors use an iPad instead of a computer?
Good question. So whether it's a monitor or a team, we have had success with teams and monitors using iPads as the main machine computer that they use. The only recommendation that we have is because some of these answers are very long, if you want to use an iPad, please have a keyboard attached to it, a physical keyboard attached to it, so that you can submit your answers more reliably and quickly. That's one. The other one is, again, I don't have it in this, but depending on the type of iPad you have, there may be a third one you need where it's not a USB-C or a USB-A, but they probably you probably have a Lightning connector. So you're going to need, again, there's going to be no Wi-Fi. So you're going to need a Lightning to Ethernet adapter to connect to your iPad. And those work, but you just have to bring one of those so that you can connect your iPad to the internet so that you can submit, so that you can connect to your Google Sheet that you're assigned to. Okay.
Another question was, how many teams are competing online and when will they get their Nearpod code, I believe is the question.
Oscar may be able to answer the number of teams, but we will give the Nearpod code either late Friday evening or Sabbath morning. I think Friday evening is when we will give it to you. But Oscar is in charge of the virtual teams. How many virtual teams are there, Oscar?
Right now we have 24.
24 virtual teams.
Yeah, 24 virtual teams.
Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
So you had said initially that on Friday we'll be testing the equipment.
For those that want to. Mm-hmm.
For those that want to, on Friday evening, we'll be testing the equipment. Okay, so are we going to have the technical team to assist with making sure we can get the setup? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right, I'm going to continue. So all of this is before 9 o'clock, between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock registration. Oh, I forgot. When you get to your location, there will also be a uniform inspection. I believe we decided the uniform inspection is going to be on paper. So the again, the floor staff, they're going to inspect your uniforms. It will just be recorded and then given to your directors. But as far as I know, there will be no points deducted if you're not in uniform. There will be no disqualifications if you are not in your uniform. It's just to give that information back to your directors. Okay. So 9 o'clock comes around, and that's when the live stream and the event actually begins. So you'll be at your desks, ready to go, and the program will begin. And what you'll do is you will log into Nearpod. So let me kind of go over this section here. So on this sheet of paper, you'll go to nearpod.com, and I'm gonna look at the sheet on the left, and this is what you'll do on your computer when your Nearpod scribe will do. They'll go to nearpod.com in their web browser, and then we're going to give you a test code on this sheet of paper. For today, if you want to follow along, today's test code is M4QNL. So the code will be different on the actual day of the event, but you type that in here, and to join a lesson, you click on this arrow. Okay. Once you do that, you'll be presented with the screen where it'll ask you for your full name and optional nickname. What do you put in there? On the sheet of paper, it'll tell you what to enter into those two fields. For me, I'm going to put in TX70, and that's the team number you'll be assigned, and every team will be different. And then into the optional nickname field, you should type in your team name. So Edinburgh, SDA Church, Castles, Edinburgh, Castles, Team A. All right, so I'm going to join the lesson. Once you're here, you're ready to go. All right, and that's all you need to do in terms of preparing for the test. All right, so now while this is happening, it will, on our side, from my perspective, we'll start seeing all the teams logging into Nearpod and make sure that all the teams are logged in correctly. If you're logged in correctly, we'll see your team number on the left-hand side and then your team name on the right-hand side. If you're not logged in correctly, what we will do is we will have to remove you from the test session, and then it'll log you out here, and then we'll have an IT member come to your desk and help you log in with the correct credentials.
Yes, to delete Google and then re-download it.
Okay. Okay. So let's kind of go over some scenarios on Nearpod here. As you can see, if I, again, focus on this side, because this is what your team will be seeing during the test. As I progress the slides here, you'll see the slides advance on your computer, and we'll also have big screens, projectors, projecting the same test on PowerPoint on the big screens in the room as well. And then this will also be live streamed to the parents and adult members in the other room. All right. So let's go over a couple scenarios. So the most basic scenario is we read the question. It'll be read in English and Spanish. And if you're a French speaking or Ukrainian speaking team, then it'll be read in your language. And then after the question is read, then we will start the activity, and you'll see the timer on the top right-hand side, and you'll see the timer countdown. And within that time, you will have to write your answer into this box. Which test is this? Oh, is this the wrong one? Yeah, this is practice. Okay. All right. Okay. Oops. So then if you type in the answer here, this is my answer. You type in your answer and you click on submit on the bottom right-hand corner. If that's your answer, you're good. You just have to wait for the timer to go down and you don't have to do anything else. All right. As the timer goes down to 0, we'll see all the answers come in. And once it's 0, the timekeeper will say time, and then we'll show the answer on the big screen. All right. And then once we show the answer on the big screen, we'll show the answer here, and then we'll move on to the next question. That's the best case scenario. You don't have any technical issues. You know the answer, you wrote it, you clicked on the submit button. Let's go to scenario number 2. Let's say we read the question in English and Spanish, and then we click on start activity. And then you guys confer with your team and you write, this is the wrong answer. And you click on submit. And then somebody says, no, that's the wrong answer. The correct answer is, this is the correct answer. So as long as there's still time remaining in the timer on the top right, you can click submit and edit answers as many times as you want and change your answer. What will happen is whatever answer was written into this box when the timer went to 0, that is the answer that will be submitted to the judges through Nearpod. All the previous answers that you typed in will not be recorded. Only the last answer that you wrote into that box when the timer went to 0 is the one that will be submitted to the judges. Okay, so this scenario, we went through, edited the answer one time and clicked on submit. Let me go through one more scenario, or maybe a couple more scenarios. Say we read the question again, go through, start activity. This is my first answer. And you click on submit, and then you say, no, that's not right. You change it to, this is my second answer. No, third answer. And I'm gonna have to wait for the timer. So the scenario I want to go through here, it's gonna take a little bit of time, is you can change the answer as many times as you want. But let's say when the timer goes to 0, you click on final answer, and before you click on submit, the timer goes to 0. What answer do you think will be submitted to the judges? All right. The answer that will be submitted to judges, so it says 0, and you didn't click on submit. The answer that will be submitted to the judges is the one that was in that box when the timer went to 0. Even if you didn't click on submit, that's the answer that will be submitted to the judges. Does that make sense? So let's see. Here. Oh. Okay. So let's see if I can go through a similar scenario here. Why is this one not showing here? Huh.
It's the top one key.
Is it top one? Oh yeah, here it is. This is my answer. There you go. So, and let's say the answer was answer and you mistyped it. So you'll see here, if you misspelled a word, it won't matter, because as long as the judges know what you meant in what you wrote, then spelling will not matter. Now, if the answer is supposed to be Jesus and you wrote John, then obviously that's the wrong answer. It's not just a spelling error, but it's the incorrect answer. Then it will be incorrect. But if the spelling is incorrect, then the judges should give you full marks for that question. Any questions so far? Okay. So the last scenario is this. So let's say we ask a question, we go to start activity, and then you start seeing this, or you don't even, let's say you don't even see this screen. Something happens to your computer. You lose your internet connection, or you close this browser window for whatever reason, and you cannot submit your answers through Nearpod. Remember, we have two. Your team has a backup way of submitting answers for every single question. Remember, if you are a paper backup team, then every single answer is going to be written on paper. So don't worry, you can submit that paper answer to the IT staff, and they will take that paper and will inform the judges that and tell them that, hey, team TX70, their computer had issues. Please consider their paper answer. If you're a team that has decided to have a monitor enter your backup answers into Google Sheets, then for those teams, don't worry that if your Nearpod crashes, just the captain or somebody should raise their hand and say, hey, we're having problems with Nearpod. But in the meantime, tell your answer to your monitor so that your monitor can type your answer into the Google Sheet. And just like the paper answers, your monitor should be entering every single one of your answers exactly as you've written them or exactly how you want to submit it in Nearpod to Google Sheets. So you should see your monitor typing in all 90 answers of your answers. Okay? Any questions? Okay.
People would like to know how many teams are going to be testing.
At last count, my understanding is about 150 teams. 150 teams, English-speaking teams, Spanish-speaking teams, French teams, Ukrainian teams, and then this year, I think it's a first, we have some Spanish-speaking teams joining us from Cuba. So there will be 4 teams from Cuba. Now, I believe the Cuban teams are joining us virtually, but they will be testing with us from Cuba. Okay, we went through all of these. I don't know so one question that I've gotten in the past is, what happens if your Nearpod, crashes in the middle? I think sometimes teams get flustered or worried that their answer won't get submitted. But again, we have those 2 backup methods, whether it's through the monitor or on paper. And we're going to keep going and moving forward, even if your team's Nearpod crashes. We're not going to pause the test. We're just going to keep going through without stopping. And we're just going to make sure that your backup answers are considered by the judges if your Nearpod session crashes. In the past, we've done some analysis on the Nearpod sessions, and less than maybe 2% of the answers or so were not submitted by Nearpod. So a huge majority of the questions or answers are submitted through Nearpod. It allows us to kind of grade the test much faster and then come up with the placement faster so that we can, there's no delays at the end. All right. There's a question here by Donna Cheddar, and then I'll have Pauline ask the question afterwards. Let's see. Yeah. So Jolene wrote the answer, but if you signed up for a Google backup or if you signed up for paper backup, we cannot change that backup method at this time. You're locked into that method. Whatever you chose during registration, that's what you are locked into. All right. Miss Pauline.
Yes, I wanted to find out, so we signed up for the monitor,
Yes,
and are we monitoring our own team or do we monitor other teams?
good question. You will be monitoring other teams.
Okay,
So, so each team that has a monitor and has chosen a monitor to be their backup method was supposed to supply one main monitor and a backup monitor. Those monitors will be allocated to a different team. You will not be monitoring your own team. Okay. Any other questions?
What if you did not sign up for a monitor?
Say that again.
What if you did not sign up for a monitor?
I didn't understand. What if you didn't sign up for a monitor?
Yes,
Okay.
you still get a monitor?
If I was part of the team that created the form, so when you signed up, when you registered your team, you had two options, either paper backup or Google Sheets backup. If you chose paper backup,
yes, paper backup, yes.
then you will not need a monitor. You didn't have to designate a monitor. If you chose Google Sheets as your backup, you were not able to submit the form without supplying a monitor. So since in your case, since you signed up as paper backup, you will not be given a monitor. You don't need to bring a monitor.
Okay, what about, are we gonna be assigned a nearby?
Yes. So every team is going to be taking the test through Nearpod, and we will give you the Nearpod code and the piece of paper. Let me see. It's going to be a piece of paper similar to this. Are you joining us virtually or in person?
In person.
In person, yeah. In your manila envelope, it'll have a paper that looks similar to this, and in there, we will give you the Nearpod test code that you need to log into.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Okay, no problem. To the monitors, we've had this question in the past, but I just want to reiterate. So each team, let's say so 100% each team needs to bring their own laptop and their own Ethernet adapter and their own power brick, okay? Now, if your team has decided to have a monitor as your backup, then that monitor and your backup monitor, they have to bring their own laptop and their own Ethernet adapter and their own power adapter, so that when they go to monitor a different team, they have their own computer or iPad to use, so that they can submit that other team's answers into the Google Sheet that they're inside to. Does that make sense? So in the scenario where you have a Google Sheet as your backup, for those teams, there will be two laptops on the desk. The team's laptop that's connected to Nearpod, and then the monitor that they're assigned to will bring their own laptop, and they will log into a Google Sheet.
I have a
Alright.
question.
Yes.
So is it pretty much the same as the what we've done with the union? Pretty much almost the same, or are there a couple of things changing?
What union are you from?
Southwestern.
Yes, it's pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. I think the only difference is if you chose, so this year at Southwestern, if I remember correctly, we only had paper backup as an option. We did not have a Google Sheet option.
All right.
So if your team chose paper backup, then it's gonna be exactly the same.
Okay. Okay. And now the adults, will they be sitting in the same building, or they'll be?
Good question. So this is my understanding. So this is the main venue where the teams will be sitting. Here are the readers, and then we'll have two big screens with the test. On this side, there will be some chairs. Who are these chairs for? These chairs are going to be reserved for the alternates, if the teams have alternates, and also one adult club member, whether it's the director or the coach or somebody associated with the team, one adult person from the team will be allowed to sit in the same building as where the test is being held. Okay, only one. All of the other adults will be in this other building, the secondary building, and they will be sitting kind of in here, and we'll have the chairs here. We'll have a big screen in the front, and we'll live stream what's happening in the other building into this building. Okay.
Thank you. Now the question is, one adult per team or one adult per club?
I believe it's one adult per team. So if you have multiple teams, then, one adult per team. That's my
Okay.
understanding.
So only one adult, one adult per team, and the rest of the members or families or
Yeah,
friends will be in another building, correct?
that's correct. That is correct.
Thank you.
Okay. So, well, the testing begins at 9:30. There will be a halftime. So for those that don't know, the test is 90 questions split into two halves. After the first half, there will be a 15-minute break or so, where you can go to the restroom, get a snack. And then after that 15-minute break, we'll finish the test with the last 45 questions. And then we anticipate ending around 12:30. Once we end at 12:30, that's when we will have lunch. The lunch, if you guys have purchased lunches, right kind of 180 degrees from here. So in this area here, we will set up kind of a station where you can pick up your lunches. I believe included in your packet, we're going to include the exact number of meal tickets that your team has purchased. All right. But you'll be able to redeem those tickets for the lunches that you've purchased. If you didn't purchase the lunch, then my understanding is there's going to be plenty of room out here and in this area where you can have your lunch. Okay. Once lunch is over, at around 2 o'clock is when we will have worship. And where will worship be? It'll be in the main building. So at 2 o'clock, once you come back in, the venue will not look like this anymore. We're gonna, I think they call it flipping the room. We're gonna flip the room so that it looks more like this. All right. So then at this time, you'll see a whole bunch of chairs in here. Everybody will be in this one room. Parents, team members, everybody will be in this one room, and we'll have the worship service in here, main worship. Okay. Once the worship service is over, we'll have a 15-minute break. And then around 3:45 is when the award ceremony will happen, and it'll happen in this room. Don't know the exact details, but I think there's going to be some level of coordination in terms of, reading placements, and then when you go up to get your award, and I believe you pick up your awards and then maybe go to the other building to take pictures. I'm not 100% sure on that, but we'll have instructions on that aspect of the program on the day of the event. But for today's purposes, worship will be in this building starting at 2 o'clock. Right after worship, after about a 15-minute break, awards will be in this building as well. Okay. And then we anticipate the program ending approximately between 5 and 5:30 in the evening. Okay. Let's see. Couple questions in here.
If we start at the bottom there,
Sure.
we understand that lunch pickup is happening outside in that green space, but what about
Mhm.
eating since it's going to be pretty cold for
Oh.
that day?
I'm not 100% sure. I don't have the answer to that. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay, we'll see if we can find an
Yeah.
answer to that. Someone else asks, I believe I read somewhere that no cell phones are even allowed monitors or pathfinders in the testing venue, not just turned off, but not allowed. Is that correct?
No cell phones allowed. Cell phones allowed.
Okay, another question. There's a child with a special medical need that
Mhm.
requires an adult around in case they need help. Can we have an extra adult for that child? I'm guessing with the team on the floor.
Oh, if it's with the team, I wish I had the answer to that. I don't want to misspeak. So if you can email, I don't know if Marilyn is here, but I'll put in my email address. Just email me that concern, and then I will get an answer for you. I just
We
don't
have a
know
raised
this.
hand.
Mhm. Yes, Miss Pauline.
Yes, so some of us didn't receive the email and we were registered as monitors. We actually
Okay.
just got this invitation from the email of our director, but we would have joined earlier on Sunday session, but we were not aware. So is it that we're not on the system or?
I'm not quite sure. So you're saying that your monitor didn't get an email yet. Is that correct?
I'm one of the monitors and I
Yes.
did not get an email about
Okay.
this meeting.
Okay.
Are you in person? Your monitor is in person?
Yes,
Okay, I'll just send the information to one monitor. I haven't sent any information to the backup monitors. I already started using some of the backup monitor, but I just
oh,
send
probably
information.
I'm a backup, I'm not sure.
Excuse me, ma'am?
I'm saying if you only send to one monitor, it's probably sent to one.
Yeah,
And
if you have another one, you send it because
yeah,
already
we're
started
two.
using the. I'm sorry.
We're two of us
Okay,
monitors.
okay.
Yeah. It could be because you are a backup monitor.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you want, I can send you the information because I'm working right now with the
Yes.
with the monitors, the primary monitors for the test, and then I'm using some of them, and then I'm sending the information to them, right? So for the rest of the backup monitors, I'm gonna send some information during this week, but I haven't chance to get to that point yet.
Okay.
Okay.
How do I get to give you my information?
Put it on the chat. You don't mind directly to me. Where is your,
Sure.
yeah, just put your church name or club name, and then I figure it out.
Yeah, and I see Lucy has a similar issue. Lucy, if you can send your contact information directly to Oscar. Or I don't know if Oscar, you can put your email address in the chat.
Yeah, let me put it on chat.
Yeah, Oscar is coordinating the monitors, both definitely the virtual monitors. I'm not sure about the in-person monitors as well.
Yeah.
In-person monitors as well. Yeah.
Mhm.
So Oscar is the person to contact in terms of monitor any issues with monitors. And as Marilyn wrote, it should be understood that the kids and the monitors need to be in full Class A uniforms.
Any monitors that are backup monitors that haven't received the information, this recording will be posted on the website that we talked
Yes.
about at the beginning, so they can watch this as well.
And also we have videos from the previous year and the YouTube channel for the NAD PBE YouTube
Right.
channel. It's gonna be the same thing. The only thing that it changed is the location, but it's the same thing that we
Pretty
did the
much.
last year
Right.
for the monitors. You know, just for the monitors. For the teams, we got the change on the paper backup, but on the monitor side, it's gonna be the same. On the team, we added like another scribe for the paper backup, but it's gonna be almost the same. And also, I just waiting for response for one of the in-person monitors. Already have all of them.
Okay.
You received my information. I just pinged it to you.
Yes, I
Oscar.
got it. Yes, I will get in contact with you after the meeting.
Thank you.
There's a question from Henry. He wants to he needs clarification on how the online teams will be connecting and accessing the test. So let me give you a brief overview of it, and then maybe Oscar, if you can clarify some things, fill in some of the details. So the online teams will be joining via, hold on, let me share this. So the timing is the same as everybody else. So the online teams should start joining and logging into your test, logging into Zoom at 8 o'clock Mountain Time. Wherever you're located, make sure you know exactly what 8 o'clock Mountain Time is. So your team should be logging into Nearpod, because we're going to be emailing you the basically a PDF version of this sheet, and it'll give you all the information about your Nearpod test code, how you need to log into Nearpod. In addition to that, for the online teams, we're going to be setting up a Zoom session. And on that Zoom session, we will be broadcasting what's happening in the room and what's being spoken into the microphones in the main room. So whether it's the MCs that are talking about the different things that are happening, or more importantly, when the questions are being read, you'll hear the voices of the question readers. And then on the screen, when the testing begins, what you will see on the Zoom session will be the PowerPoint that's being shown on the big screens. So what we recommend, if you haven't done this before, is very similar to in person. You have your team sitting, let's say, in a circle with their computer, logged onto the internet, logged into Nearpod, and on that laptop, all they have is Nearpod, okay? On the Zooms, you should have a different computer that's connected to the Zoom session. And if you can, put it on a big TV, or if you have a projector, put it on the projector so that they can see what's happening in the room and they can hear the question readers as they read the questions. So you're going to basically, to kind of summarize, you would need two machines. One machine that the kids are typing answers into Nearpod, and then a second machine that's broadcasting the Zoom. And I guess for virtual teams, they're also going to have a monitor assigned to them. So you'll need a separate monitor that has their own computer connected to Google Sheets and typing your backup answers into Google Sheets. Okay. For the virtual teams, as far as I know, there is no paper option. So for virtual teams, you only have a monitor option, and that monitor is going to be typing in their backup answers into a Google Sheet. Did I miss anything, Oscar?
Yeah, I think everything is yeah, you already said everything. Just to recap, I'm gonna be sending you this weekend. I mean, I'm sorry, this week, maybe Friday, the general Zoom section, the session that is gonna be used by the teams and only for the team. This is something like the directors can share with the local church members or anybody that is gonna be used for the teams. And also we're gonna see the teams all the time, right? That is, and on the Zoom section, they're gonna see on the Zoom meeting, they're gonna see and hear the question and answers. And for the rest of the people, it's gonna be a live stream from the NAD PBE YouTube channel. The rest of the people can watch from there. And also maybe Friday is gonna be sending the also the team's information sheet.
Right. Henry, did we answer your question? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you very much for answering the question. I'm calling from UK.
okay.
I know, Oscar, you asked whether I registered, because we did register before in the section of monitor, because personally I'm a director for the club as well. I've been grading, so I put my name as a grader, but somebody told me I need to get somebody who is independent, who is not a member of our local church or local club. I don't know that is correct. And if that's the case, I need to make changes to the form I submitted on the 7th. Oscar, I don't know whether you got a form from Luton Central Church here in England.
No, we don't have any information about your church. We can't find your information. You
I
are
did,
not.
I did send on the 7th, and I can send you a copy of what I filled, and I got a response.
Yeah, if you want, send me the information that you have, because
And I send you to your email, because I needed to make that change where the monitor, because my understanding the monitor was the grader. But having said that, is it, well, I'll send you, I don't know whether I'll send straight if you check your email and respond to myself if I need to make any changes to that.
Yeah, what I'm saying is you send me the copy of the form, or what you got after
Yeah,
you did
I'll send that email straight
Okay.
to you now.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Another thing is this session recorded, because the reason I'm
Yes.
asking, I need to probably have it because if I'm not going to be the grader, I need to communicate this to the team, the captain, and those who are going to use these facilities in good
Yes.
times, so that they can understand how it works, because this is our first time.
Yes, so this session is being recorded. It'll probably within an hour of us, ending the session, I will, on this page, nadpbe.org, on the resources page, right underneath here, in this section, I'm gonna have a link to the recording. It should be a YouTube video. So this is where the recording is going to be linked. And it'll be there within an hour.
All right, let me let me respond a question that was sent directly to me.
Okay.
We're not gonna have virtual and hybrid teams. It's gonna be the option to be in person or virtual one location. We are not gonna have you have 5 members in Colorado and 1 in your local church. That is not gonna be possible this time. I'm sorry.
Miss Pauline. Did you have your hand up?
Oh, sorry, I was speaking on mute.
Okay.
I wanted to clarify, we're not bringing extension cables, just the power cable and the Ethernet adapter. You're providing the extension cord?
Good question.
Pastor Jean is asking every team to bring their own 25-foot extension cord.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so I do have a couple of questions. Really fast, maybe you already mentioned them, but would there be uniform inspection?
Yes.
One.
During
Okay.
registration, there will be uniform inspection. Yes.
And registration starts at 8 o'clock?
8 a.m. Yes.
8 a.m. Okay, and now my second one, normally when we're done at conference and in union, we provide a table, but now most of us are flying. So are there gonna be tables over there for the teams, or they're just gonna
Yes.
do their lap?
We're going to provide the tables.
Thank you. Okay,
Did you say the extension cable is for all teams and monitors to provide?
Yeah.
Or
So
just
there,
for the
yeah.
monitors?
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, maybe just one extension. Maybe we need a 3-way. Maybe you can bring a 1 extension and a 3-way. If your team is signed as a Google Sheets backup, or or with monitor.
So what if you have 2 teams and you have 2 monitors? I don't think we're all gonna sit together, so.
Right.
Pastor Jean asked each team to bring a 25-foot electrical extension cord, and if your team is
Okay.
providing a monitor, they should also bring, with their laptop and ability to connect to the Ethernet, a 25-foot electrical extension cord.
Okay, there you go. That is the answer.
Okay.
Thank you.
We
Um,
we have a
mhm.
couple more questions.
Sure.
One is for the adults that can stay in the testing center, are they allowed to have cell phones?
I would say no. I mean, they need to be quiet. I don't know if we're gonna confiscate phones. I'm not sure on the answer to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question is what time relative to the worship program at Vespers on Friday will the ability to do the test run
Mhm.
for connection be held? Is that before or after?
After. Yeah.
Okay. And do we know how long the Vespers program is scheduled for?
No. I don't know.
Okay. Um,
These
The
are all great
question of-
questions, yeah.
when will the virtual monitors get their Google Sheet link? They are assigned at the same time as the virtual Nearpod codes on Friday, Oscar?
It's virtual teams, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
virtual team.
Virtual teams. For virtual teams, I would say Thursday. Yeah, I would say Thursday. I will
Okay.
send information. I mean, I already sent an email today. Today and I already explained then what is the plan for this week.
Okay, so the teams
it's gonna be
and the
Thursday-
monitors.
Yeah, it's gonna be Thursday or Friday. So I'm gonna send information to the like the teams information sheet to the directors and coaches. Monitor information sheet to the monitor to the monitors, and yeah, I think everybody's gonna have all the information just in case, you know. But it's gonna be between Thursday and Friday.
All right. Well, I think that's it. Thank you,
Just
everybody.
just a quick question
Yes.
regarding the Virgio, because you are talking about those who are going to test the equipment. Those of us who are in Virgio, how quick can we get any assistance if there's any technical issue? Will there be somebody assigned who we can be able to contact straight on, or?
So let me answer that. So for the virtual teams, we're gonna have all the monitors in a WhatsApp group, right? So that is the way how we're gonna be communicating during the test. So we're gonna be people from the NAD PBE team in that chat, from the registration to the end of the test. So that is the backup that we're gonna have for the virtual teams. If something happened, remember that the in Google Sheets, you can still put in all the answers in Google Sheets. Either if you lose the internet, when you get the internet back, that is gonna be uploaded to the to the cloud. So you're never gonna be able, I mean, you're never gonna lose points on that, having the backup on Google Sheets. Because we are not gonna, like, if you have issues, we're not gonna stop the test. That's why we have the monitor. That is the backup.
So having said that, will there be a requirement for them to switch on any cameras in the room or something? Because I'm aware if we have 6 of the participants having this computer and if anything goes wrong, is there a requirement for somebody to be there locally to attend these issues, communicating with yourself, or which phone numbers in terms of WhatsApp is required? I'm just talking from the point of a club director, whether I'm allowed to be where they're doing the testing.
One thing is we want to see the team, the kids, all the time through the Zoom meeting, and that's why we have the monitors. I mean, home monitors are going to be the person that are going to be helping you and us on the other side with your team. Because if we put a lot of people in that chat, that is going to be crazy for us. So we're just going to leave just the monitors until this point.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Anyway, I'll be in touch with you, Oscar, if there's need. I'll send you an email.
I haven't received any email yet. I mean, or the second email. I got your first email, but I'm not the second with the information of your registration. Let's see. Check.
One more question that came up during our previous session is related to autocorrect. So we've had issues sometimes, whether it's on a Windows, a Mac, or sometimes on an iPad. Some teams try to enter answers and autocorrect, change their answer. So one, recommendation that we have is before you come to, before you start taking the test, make sure to turn off autocorrect on your computer, whatever computer you have, so that it doesn't accidentally change your answer. Okay. All right. Let's see. There's one more question. Is a test run mandatory? No. It's if you want to test your equipment. Will teams who opted for paper backup also get monitors? No. Only teams that have Google Sheets as a backup. We will have IT and support staff assigned to each, grouping of teams, and they will act as their monitors, but we won't, for those paper backup teams, we won't have a dedicated monitor assigned to those teams. We won't. All right. I think we're done here. Thank you so much for attending. I will see everyone on Friday evening and Sabbath morning. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Safe travels, everybody.
Yeah, can you say